Presidents in Singapore this morning preparing for the first ever face-to-face meeting with a North Korean leader.
Plus, families in Janesville could soon be held responsible for bullying in their community.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. 6 o'clock now on this Monday, June 11th.
So we saw a beautiful sunrise. Chris Reese is in for Hattie this morning and was talking about some clouds, though, that are coming our way.
That's right. We still have the good sunrise that's out there right now, but those clouds are starting to stream in from the west. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV camera. And look, the sun's gone. We've seen the rays of the sun pretty much all morning. Yeah. It's still there, but it's much more filtered now compared to how it's been. That's as those thicker clouds begin to work on into town, especially from the south and west. I don't have the Platteville camera in this one, but if you've looked at it, I mean, it is just dreary out there. Feel bad for those folks because it really does look like a Monday.
They always have the best sunrises. I don't feel bad.
Yeah. Well, here's what's going on. You had a cluster of showers and thunderstorms over Iowa. That essentially sent some cloud cover our way, and that'll keep the cloud cover in for at least part of the morning. Temperature-wise, we are all in the 60s except for the lakeshore. That's where temperatures are in the 50s right now, 61 degrees, in fact, for us here in Madison. But we'll watch temperatures warm through the 70s for the next 12 hours. 76 will be your high temperature this afternoon. The one thing everyone wants on a Monday, though, is a smooth commute into work. And so far, that is how things are looking. Here's a live look at Todd Drive at the Beltline right now. So far, all is good. A little bit of a slowdown coming in from Stoughton Road at the Beltline, but that's typical for this time of the day. We'll zoom out. Even Dane County as a whole is looking pretty good. If you're coming in on the Beltline pretty much from anywhere, so far, traffic all moving at posted speeds.
That's what we like to see, because again, the interstate, again, we had an issue yesterday, again, in that construction zone, no good.
That construction zone scares me, not gonna lie.
So, as it may should, all right. Chris, thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you all.
2 minutes after the hour now, we start overseas in Singapore, where final preparations are underway this morning for the historic summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo talked to reporters a little more than an hour ago, saying the U.S. is hopeful going into the summit, but also said the U.S. would add more economic sanctions on North Korea if it does not agree to remove all of its nuclear facilities. The summit will be the first time a sitting U.S. president has met with a North Korean leader. Overnight, the president continued to criticize Canadian and European leaders on Twitter over their country's trade policies negatively impacting Americans. CBS News anchor Jeff Glor will be live in Singapore just after 7 this morning. Back closer to home now, dozens of researchers from around the country are in Madison this morning for a special kind of healthcare boot camp. Yeah,
they're trying to increase the number of minority researchers investigating health disparities and to hopefully improve health equity among people of different races. Our Josh Spreiter joins us live this morning from the site of the 9th Annual Health Equity Leadership Institute with
Adam and Danica, good morning. A big week here on the UW-Madison campus. I'm joined this morning by Dorothy Farrar-Edwards. You're a professor here, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So you're a professor, but you're also the director of a very special institute you guys have going on this week.
Yeah, so I'm the director of the Collaborative Center for Health Equity, which is leading the Health Equity Leadership Institute. This is an annual event where we bring junior scholars, assistant professors, and postdoctoral fellows from all over the United States to come to Madison to learn about the great work that we're doing here in Madison around issues of health equity, but to also develop the skills to be successful in their own research.
So this kicks off today, and what can people kind of expect? I mean, what are you guys working on?
So we're working on a number of things. Basically, this is like a boot camp. We're trying to help these junior faculty and new investigators build the skills to be very successful in the competitive research environment. Most of our research relies on funding from the federal government, particularly the National Institutes of Health, and that's very, very difficult to obtain. So we really work on skill development in the area of grant writing, grantsmanship, how to take a research idea and develop it into a fundable project. But in order to do these projects, you have to know how to connect with people, because we're really talking about health conditions of people who may or may not have access to healthcare systems or have not been present in the research process before. So we spend quite a bit of time with our community partners here in Madison and Milwaukee to really provide firsthand experiences for our Healy scholars in how to build good partnerships and actually also respond to the healthcare needs of the community. So this is all about relationships. Successful health equity programs are built on hearing the voice of the community and turning those concerns into fundable, actionable research.
All right, Dorothy. Well, thank you so much for joining us. She'll be sticking around. And coming up in our next half hour, we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of having a program like this and also some challenges. That's coming up just after 6:30, guys.
Some of the preparation, the research that starts today ends up impacting people decades to come. All right, Josh Sprider reporting live from campus this morning. Thank you.
6:05 right now, and the Janesville City Council is considering an implementation of a noise ordinance as the downtown area gets a bit busier. However, the city is recommending the council take no action. The city issued a statement saying that there is more activity downtime and meaning more noise for residents. But since there's not a lot of support from people who live in that area, the city is asking the council not to pursue adopting a noise ordinance. Also at that meeting tonight, a number of people will ask the city council to take action against bullying.
Specifically, they want a new ordinance that would fine parents and end up punishing kids with a sentence of community service if they engage in bullying. So it has been 2 weeks now since 12-year-old Elizabeth Jacobson killed herself. Her mother says bullying at her daughter's school was not dealt with and played a role in that suicide. Other cities like Monona and Shawano have similar anti-bullying ordinances in place. Now, there is no official item on the city council meeting agenda in Janesville tonight, but Elizabeth's mother and other advocates for the anti-bullying ordinance do plan to speak to alders there during public comment. That meeting starts at 6 o'clock at the Central Fire Station. We will have an update tonight on News 3 at 10.
We want to remind you there are a number of stories on our Time to Talk page that can help guide a conversation with your family about suicide or any other mental health related topics. Just go to channel3000.com/timeforkids for more. Almost 6:07 right now, and the UW Health Carbone Cancer Center is partnering with other cancer centers across the country to increase screening and vaccinations for a treatable form of cancer.
Carbone reports nearly 1 out of every 4 people in the U.S. is infected with something called the human papillomavirus, or HPV. Of those 80 million people, more than 31,000 of them will be diagnosed with an HPV-related cancer this year. So Carbone's calling on doctors, parents, young adults to take advantage of an opportunity to eliminate cancers that the sexually transmitted disease can lead to, like cervical cancer. A recent study backs the safety of that HPV vaccine. Canadian researchers looked at data on about 180,000 girls, found no link between getting vaccinated for HPV and increased risk of autoimmune disorders. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted diseases.
6:07 right now, and there is a special blood drive this week in our area to celebrate a transplant survivor. People might not realize that transplants need an incredible amount of blood. Coming up in a couple minutes, we will meet that survivor and hear how he now wants others to help.
We're looking at a cloudy Monday morning. We should see a little sun this afternoon. Temperatures going to be pretty mild, though, in the mid-70s. Chris Reese is in for Hattie this morning. He'll talk about the chance for rain coming later this week when News 3 This Morning continues.
And as we get through this forecast, might not be a bad day for a trip to the water park. A beautiful morning that we have here in Madison right now and points to the east, but there is some cloud cover working in, especially from the south and west. We've been tracking this cluster of showers and thunderstorms over central Iowa and the cloud cover that sent our way. And so that's what we're tracking, especially over the southern half of Wisconsin this morning. No rain is expected to fall out of these clouds. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV camera. And you see the cloud cover that is really now starting to move in, blocking out some of that sunshine. We go over to Platteville. It's a totally different story. Temperatures this morning, especially across the west, are in the low and even mid-60s starting to show up. 61 for us here in Madison. We go over towards the lakeshore, things are a little bit cooler. That's where temperatures are in the 50s. Milwaukee is at 57 right now, 55 for the temperature in Waukesha. We'll watch the clouds begin to thin out as we go through the evening, or the afternoon rather. Temperatures at 67 by the time we get you towards 11 o'clock, 76 your high. This afternoon, sunshine will be around. You get towards the west, temperatures will be closer to about 80 degrees. More cloud cover will move in overnight ahead of a cold front that's moving in. The showers that you see on future track right now will begin to die out as they approach southern Wisconsin, but still we cannot rule out at least the chance to get a shower or two in there. High pressure begins to take over as we move towards Wednesday. That is going to mean more sunshine comes to the forecast. 60 to 67 degrees this morning, mostly cloudy, growing sunny, especially as we get you towards the afternoon. That's where we will be partly sunny with the temperature of 76 degrees for that high. The next 7 days show you temperatures will warm into the 80s. Additional rain chances will remain in the forecast. They are upper 80s by the time we get you towards Sunday. Oh yeah, the humidity is going to be there as well. So those heat indices will be approaching 90 to 95 degrees. More rain chances come back towards days 8, 9, and 10. Notice temperatures will stay in the 80s along with those rain chances each and every day. Getting the heat and the humidity will give you that chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Now let's head over to your first alert traffic with Josh Tim. Josh.
Yeah, starting off the morning commute, looking great on the Beltline so far. No major issues showing up in either direction. It is pretty quiet on other routes here in Dane County as well. Just a few brake lights popping up on the northbound side of Verona Road near those Beltline ramps. Looking at downtown Madison, no problems at all around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume shouldn't be another problem, at least for another half hour or so. And other routes, including on the interstate, are cruising along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Chris there. All right, donating blood can save a life, and there may be no better example than one Middleton man who is here this morning to share his story.
Scott Kirkpatrick had a heart attack while he was driving last year, crashed into a tree, ended up having a heart transplant, needed numerous transfusions during the surgery and during his recovery. Scott and his wife, Carrie, now working with the Red Cross and volunteer Jerry Hogue this week to encourage others to donate. They are all here with us this morning to share some details. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carrie and Scott, let me start with you. I mean, this is, we don't necessarily think that transplant patients necessarily are going to need donation, and yet when you say it like that, it seems obvious. But I guess kind of explain your path to this.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of the talking because part of the path is that Scott was in critical condition for about 3 weeks and had breathing tube in and out, and he does have some vocal fold permanent damage. So we're working on getting the voice back because we want to get him back to choir, but it all, just started just very, very suddenly with the call. I got a call that Scott was in a serious accident and I needed to get to the hospital really as soon as possible because they weren't sure if he was going to make it. Yeah. So that was quite a shocking day, but he's really come a long way and it's a miracle. It's absolutely a miracle that he's with us today, and a big part of that is all of the work that everybody does to make sure that people that are in critical condition with car accidents and then future surgeries have the blood that they need. We did a quick research before we sat on the couch here, and it takes about 50 units of blood for anybody in an auto accident. And I think Scott's was one of those accidents that probably took up to 50 units because he actually had the jaws of life that had to get him out of the car. And if you were to see the pictures of the car, or if you happened to drive by that day on Gammon Avenue and you knew that he was alive with us today, you wouldn't doubt that it was a miracle.
So Julie, can you kind of explain your connection not only to these folks, but this cause as well, and what kind of led you to go down this path with them?
Right. I've been working with Red Cross here in Dane County for 16, 17 years, and you know, Carrie had asked me, she said, why do you do this? I said, you know, I don't really have a story, but Scott and people like him are why I do this. So Scott and I are in the choir together, and Scott sat in front of me, and so when I saw on a breaking news email from Channel 3 that there had been this accident, and then later found out it was Scott, I thought we have to do something to, you know, make this right.
So there's going to be a blood drive this week. I wanted to have you point out, though, Scott, really quickly, that T-shirt. What is that T-shirt about, if you can, and kind of share with us?
We did Crazy Legs this year. We had a team, and I walked 2 miles, which was an amazing feat for me right now.
No kidding.
But the idea behind Loving Life, it's the way I sign my emails off.
Yeah.
And the idea that no matter if it's a cloudy day, a rainy day, or a sunny day, I'm so grateful that I love life, every part of life. So that's how I sign my emails off.
It's an awesome,
great message.
Yeah, I love that T-shirt too. So if you want to help, let's share the details with people. The blood drive is going to be held this Thursday from noon until 6 o'clock at St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Middleton. That's where they all go to church together.
Yep.
Thank you all. Best of luck. And you said there are already 80 people signed up?
84.
Oh.
Don't want to shortchange those extra 4 people. Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much.
So glad that you're feeling better.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's awesome to meet you guys, too.
Thank you.
It is 6:18 right now. Coming up, we're going to be previewing a story that will make my kids laugh, but the potty humor surrounding a number of cows at the UW could actually serve a greater purpose, like saving the environment. We'll share the smelly details here in a couple of minutes.
And Scott's laughing already over here. The chance for rain gets better as we go through the week. Chris Reese is watching the radar, and we'll update the forecast when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning. It's a cloudy look for our friends over in Platteville. We are seeing at least some sunshine here today. Here's a live look over in Platteville right now. You see a lot of the cloud cover that is out there and a little bit of a foggy and dreary look that they have. We come over to WISC-TV and yep, the cloud cover is now taking over in Madison. So I hope you enjoyed that sunshine while it lasted. 61 degrees, winds coming out of the east-northeast. Dew points in the lower 50s, though, so it will not feel as humid. Even though the cloud cover is here, no rain is coming out of those clouds, so that is the good news. In fact, as we go through your day, we are not expecting any rain until we get you into the overnight. That's when we do have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Temperatures will make it all the way into the mid-70s. How about that for a Monday?
Not too shabby. Thank you very much, Chris. And if you're looking to get the kids outside today in that decent weather, all Madison beaches are back open after a massive blue-green algae bloom caused a number of them to close last week. A series of beaches from the Memorial Union to Middleton were shut down due to that bloom. The heat and high phosphorus levels caused that increase in algae, which can be dangerous for people and pets. But the rain we got over the weekend seems to have helped clear it out a little bit. Public Health Madison and Dane County shows all the beaches are back open today.
6:23 right now. There's a chance for some storms over the next couple of days, and there's new research out showing driving in heavy rain can be dangerous if you don't have good tires. AAA reports driving on worn tires in heavy rain can increase your average stopping distances by 43% compared to new tires. Nearly 800,000 crashes happen on wet roads every year, so AAA wants drivers to check their tread depth, replace their tires proactively, and increase their following distances on rainy days.
Dairy researchers at UW-Madison are breathalyzing the cows there. No, they're not checking to see if they had one too many over the weekend at the terrace. The machine you're about to see here is known as a green feed system. It measures the methane gas cows are emitting when they process their food and expel it out the other side. For lack of a better term, scientists say heat-trapping methane has more than doubled in our atmosphere in the past 200 years. And now the dairy industry is trying to reduce its carbon footprint by 25% by the year 2020. Those researchers are looking into how cows are fed and how their manure is handled to see if they can help farmers meet that goal.
The numbers are easy to remember, actually. It's for every pounds of milk that you would consume, there is 2 pounds of CO2 equivalent emitted in the atmosphere.
So the hope is to have a practical plan for Wisconsin farmers sometime next year. Our colleague Eric Franke spent some time with the cows, takes us into the barn to tell us more about bovine emissions and what that means for the environment. Coming up tonight at 10.
6:24 right now. One of the people killed in a car crash over the weekend was a longtime educator at one of our area high schools. We'll have an update here in a couple of minutes.
And there's a possible change coming to how Janesville officers deal with marijuana possession that could lead to offenders getting a ticket instead of a trip to jail. The day's top stories are next on News 3 this morning. Federal investigators will be back in Greene County today trying to figure out why a plane went down just before touching down at a local airport.
A program focusing on the access of healthcare, the disparities of healthcare kicks off today. I'm Josh Spreader live on the UW campus. All of those details straight ahead.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning, 6:29 on this Monday, June 11th.
So we had a really nice sunrise. The clouds are coming in, though, before they clear out and give us some more sun a little bit later on today. Chris Reese is in for Hattie this morning. Joins us now live outside. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello, cloud cover, my old friend. It is back and in action out here on the patio. I kind of missed the sunshine just a little bit. It was nice while it lasted, but as always, sometimes the good things come to an end. The sunrise being one of those things this morning. The cloud cover obviously back over southern Wisconsin this morning. In fact, as we go over towards Platteville, you see a lot of the cloud cover as well. Here's downtown right now, so it's filtered in through central Dane County. And here's Platteville, where oddly enough, the clouds are starting to thicken up or thin up, there we go, a little bit as opposed to earlier this morning. We've seen this cloud cover pretty much for the past several hours moving in from the south and west. In fact, that's where temperatures have been warmer because the cloud cover overnight didn't allow their temperatures to drop as much. La Crosse, Wisconsin at 66. We're at 61 here in Madison. Kenosha at 59 right now along the lake shore. But going through the rest of the day, we'll continue to watch temperatures warm through the upper 60s and even 70s. Sunshine does come back as we get you towards the afternoon. 76 will be your high before some rain chances move in later on overnight. In terms of traffic right now, so far, everything is moving smoothly, so that's still what we like to see for a Monday morning. The Beltline in good shape. There is a slowdown, especially downtown as you begin to approach Capitol Square. 151 southbound moving at 16 miles per hour right now. But if you're on the Beltline or preparing to take the Beltline to head to sit in that downtown traffic, the good news is everything still continues to move smoothly this morning.
Thank you very much, Chris.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Topping the news this half hour, Greene County authorities say it could be days until the scene of a fatal plane crash is cleared. All 4 people in that plane died when it crashed in an open field just north of the Monroe Municipal Airport. Crews were called out around noon yesterday for this accident and arrived to find the aircraft engulfed in flames. Greene County investigators say the plane was heading to Monroe from Kenosha. According to deputies, the woman flying the plane had her daughter and 2 grandchildren on board. The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board will be on the scene later on this morning.
Federal authorities are also in Oshkosh this morning, continuing their investigation into a deadly helicopter crash. 27-year-old Jonathan Barr of Platteville died in that incident. Barr hit a number of power lines and his helicopter crashed into the Fox River. He had been taking photographers over a powerboat charity event and was on his way back after refueling when this accident happened. The power lines in the river made rescue efforts delayed them for a couple of hours. We're learning more about the people killed in the head-on crash on Highway 19 near Westport on Friday. Dane County Medical Examiner identified the driver responsible for the crash as 21-year-old Thomas Westrich. Sheriff's deputies say he was driving recklessly, crossed the center line before he hit a minivan driven by 68-year-old Frank Funsingland. He and his wife, 64-year-old Lorraine, were in that car. It hit him head-on. Frank died at the scene. Lorraine died later at the hospital. Lorraine worked as a special education aide at Partyville High School and was the longtime drama coach at that school as well.
It's almost 6:32 right now, and dozens of top healthcare researchers from around the country are in Madison this morning with a special mission in mind.
They're working to increase the number of minorities in their field who are investigating health disparities and health equity issues. Josh Spreiter's live on the UW campus this morning with a preview of this so-called healthcare boot camp. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Adam and Danica. A lot of work went into this program this week, and one of the people in charge of that is Dorothy Farrar-Edwards, and she's joining us live this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So you are a professor here, but you're also the program director, and talk a little bit about what you guys are doing here this week.
So we have a fabulous program here this week for junior faculty and postdocs from across the country to really build their expertise in health equity research. So that's research that really translates basic science findings from the laboratories, like the laboratories we have here, into practical changes in healthcare in the community, particularly for communities that are underrepresented and may be at greater risk for health conditions, chronic health conditions. We bring in a group of national experts, colleagues from the University of Maryland, from the National Institutes of Health, from other parts of the country, and also community partners from here in Madison and Milwaukee to come together to learn from each other about the challenges of health equity research and how to achieve health equity for particularly for communities of color.
So this is something you guys put a lot of work into. Why is this important and why is this unique to have here in Madison?
Well, this is really important because communities, particularly communities of color, bear disproportionate burden of chronic disease and health conditions. And so we want to make sure that everyone in the country has the advantage of the scientific achievements that are being done in this medical school and medical schools all over the country. We need to make sure that the community gets the benefits of this work. But why here? The University of Wisconsin has a long-standing commitment to health equity and to education that goes well beyond the borders of our university and the state. So this is a Wisconsin idea in action. I know people get tired of hearing about that, but we really mean it. And we put a lot of work into bringing this talented group of young scholars together with investigators here, resources here, to build a network of health investigators who really address the most important health issues of our time.
All right, Dorothy. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to learn more information, we've posted all of these details on channel3000.com.
It's really interesting when you think about kind of some of the research being done now and the impact it'll have years from now. Josh Sprider reporting live from campus this morning. Thank you.
6:34 right now. Anyone caught with marijuana in Janesville may not face criminal charges in the future. Under an ordinance being considered at City Council tonight, possessing small amounts of marijuana would be punishable by a fine between $50 and $500. Now, anyone caught with large amounts of marijuana or having the intent to deliver it would still be arrested and charged under this ordinance. City Council meets at 6 o'clock tonight to discuss this and a number of other issues. That meeting takes place at the Central Fire Station. The president is in Singapore this morning getting ready for his upcoming summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. We'll have an update in the morning sprint.
And there are a couple programs starting up today to make sure no kid goes hungry this summer in our area. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning. Welcome back to the program. 6:38 right now on this Monday morning. It's the time of the morning we always ask you to share a little bit of what's going on in your world with us. And I love this picture that Jerry Rockwell had posted on our Facebook page, and therefore I can't get enough of this picture. I might just make this my screenshot on my
I don't blame you.
homepage, because that's a nice picture. Thank you so much, Jerry. We appreciate you sharing it.
What does your morning look like? It could be on the water, in your backyard, wherever it is, whatever it is. Take a picture, post it on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram page, email us. Be sure to use that hashtag, though, MyNews3Morning. That's how we're able to find these and share our favorites every morning here on the show. The official summer meal program for Madison schools starts a week from today, but UW Health starts its own program a little later this morning.
The medical provider added a location staying open for longer hours this year to try to help the thousands of kids in Madison who rely on free and reduced lunch during the school year. Those free meals will be offered from 7 until 7 every day. They're available this summer at the UW Hospital cafeteria. Also this year, they're going to be setting up a food truck every Friday during lunch at the Union Corners Clinic parking lot just off East Wash. That program runs from now until the end of August.
The city of Beloit's also starting its free summer meals program today. Kids between 6 and 12 years old can stop by Vernon Park or Kruger Park for a free lunch provided by the Salvation Army. The city is offering activities throughout the summer at those parks as well, including free swimming on Thursdays at Kruger Pool. Those programs will run through August 17th. So it's going to look a bit like a Monday outside there this morning. Cloudy, kind of gray skies. They're heading our way already in Platteville, as you can see, already hitting the capital at this point. At least the temperatures will be nice. Chris Reese is in for Hattie this morning. He'll let us know about the possibility of rain.
First, though, it is June 11th. We want to say happy birthday to McKenna and all of the kids out there turning 3 today. Thanks for letting us celebrate with you right here on News 3 this morning.
Look
Oh, those clouds are getting closer to the horizon there. We are taking a live look right now at the WISC sky cam on the west side of town here. Again, a cloudy start to the day. We do have some clearing and then some chances for rain, all to tell you about. Chris will be in just a moment here. But first, the repeal of net neutrality takes effect today. Back in December, you may remember the FCC voted to repeal the Obama-era rules requiring internet service providers to treat all content equally. The agency said the regulations were unnecessary and unhelpful. Critics still maintain, though, that the internet service providers will now have too much control over the flow of online content.
The Janesville Gazette will be getting smaller on Tuesday because its paper comes from Canada and the tariff covering it is sent costs 30% higher. The Gazette reports paper is its second biggest expense behind its staff, and it's hoping by printing on pages 1 inch narrower, it can create significant savings. It's going to lead to a design change for the front page, the sports front page. The paper reports the actual text of stories won't be getting any smaller. Additionally, a number of features are being cut to help that paper balance its budget.
Turning it over on this Monday morning to Chris Reese. He is in the Weather Center this morning with more on your forecast. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Here is a time lapse of the sunrise that came through while it lasted earlier today. Now, as beautiful as it was, you couldn't not capture that. So let's just all appreciate how it looked because things are different now. The cloud cover really moving in from the west, working its way to the east. You can see the sun low on the horizon now. We go to the Edgewater. We're still dealing with a lot of the cloud cover out there this morning. Temperatures are in the lower 60s. We're at 61 here in Madison. Winds coming out of the east-northeast at 8 miles per hour. Check out the dew point at 54. It's going to feel pretty good as you're stepping outside, even if it is cloudy. 60s are a bit higher as you work your way to the west. Boscobel coming in at 65 degrees right now. Per usual, it's cooler along the lakeshore where temperatures are in the 50s. As of now, Watertown coming in at 61, though, so even they have made it into the lower 60s. The cloud cover we have been tracking pretty much all morning long. You can see where it's been thickest across portions of Grant County, but now it is really beginning to thin out. We'll see that pretty much all day long. Everyone gets thinning cloud cover by 11 o'clock. Temperatures here in Madison should be right around 67 degrees. Into the afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds, a lot of sunshine as well. 76 degrees, 80s as you work your way farther towards the Mississippi River Valley. In fact, this is what's going to happen tonight. This regional low pressure will bring a cold front into the Midwest. That'll spark off some showers and thunderstorms, but as they run into the drier air that we'll have over southern Wisconsin, they will fall apart. We'll still keep the shower and thunderstorm chance there, but it's not going to be all that great. By the time we get you beyond that, more high pressure takes over. That's going to mean sunshine does return, especially as we get you towards Wednesday. 60 to 67 this morning, mostly cloudy now, growing sunny as we go throughout the day. Partly sunny towards this afternoon. 76 degrees will be your high temperature there. And then get this, 80s return as we get you through Tuesday and Wednesday, along with some additional rain chances, especially there towards the end of the week. We zoom out and then we get some better heat. Yeah, Sunday, 88 degrees. It's also going to be more humid on Sunday. Additional rain chances lasting through days 8, 9, and 10. Now, let's look at our pet walk. Humidity. I don't think he's happy about the humidity, but you've got Manny and Middleton on a Monday, so I had to use the alliteration there. Look at that underbite.
Maybe he's smiling. I can't tell if he's smiling or grouchy about something, but I like it. I like all of it. All right, Chris, thank you so much.
No problem.
That's good stuff. You just watch Manny all morning long.
I know. It's
Morning Sprint's coming up next. First, though, here's Nora O'Donnell with a preview of CBS This Morning.
Good morning, and ahead here on CBS This Morning, we're in Singapore with the overnight developments ahead of the U.S.-North Korea summit. And we'll test out new self-driving car technology that can give a human control of the car from miles away in case of an emergency. We'll see you right at 7.
6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Chris Reese has clouds moving in through the morning and mild temperatures throughout the day. And Josh Sprider is live at the UW campus, where there's a so-called healthcare boot camp starting today, hoping to help more people of color with research.
But we start in Singapore. That's where President Trump is getting ready for his meeting tomorrow with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told reporters this morning the U.S. is hopeful to get North Korea to commit to removing all of its nuclear facilities and that it won't hesitate to add more economic sanctions if those conditions are not agreed to. The summit's going to be the first time a sitting U.S. president has ever met face-to-face with a North Korean leader. CBS Evening News anchor Jeff Glorge reporting live from Southeast Asia just after 7 o'clock.
Federal investigators will be back on the scene of a fatal plane crash in Greene County this morning. A small plane went down around noon yesterday in an open field just north of the Monroe Municipal Airport. The woman flying the plane had her daughter and 2 grandchildren on board. They were heading from Kenosha to Monroe. It could be days, by the way, before the scene is cleared.
Federal authorities are also in Oshkosh this morning, continuing their investigation into a deadly helicopter crash there. 27-year-old Jonathan Barr of Platteville died in that incident. He hit a number of power lines and his helicopter crashed into the Fox River. He had been bringing photographers back and forth over a powerboat charity event and was on his way back after refueling when that accident happened. The power lines in the river delayed rescue efforts for a couple of hours.
Madison police are looking for multiple suspects this morning after 2 people say someone shot at them while they were trying to get on the Beltline. The victims told officers they were leaving the Quick Trip on Fraser Avenue. This is close to the West Broadway interchange around 7:30 Saturday night. Police did find the stolen car of the people who allegedly fired those shots, but not the people responsible for the shooting. Witnesses describe seeing 3 men running from that car.
This week, the research community in Madison is trying to increase the number of minority investigators researching disparities in access to health care. They're focusing specifically on those currently underrepresented in the healthcare and public health workforce. The director of the Health Equity Leadership Institute says investigators often face unique obstacles which hinder their research success, like loneliness and isolation. The group works to support and advance the careers of underrepresented minority investigators whose goal is to eliminate health disparities. The Institute kicks off today. There are several meetings open to the public. It runs through Friday.
And I've been tracking the cloud cover this morning. A lot of that's still out there, but by the time we get you into the afternoon, we will see at least some sunshine returning. Temperatures will top out right around 76 degrees this afternoon. We could see some light rain chances overnight.
Thank you very much, Chris. Madison city leaders will be meeting later today to talk about updating the city's comprehensive plan. It's been about a dozen years since the city originally laid out its growth goals and plans. The city now has a draft focusing on a new vision after taking ideas from people through the Imagine Madison project over the last year. The city's plan commission will vote tonight on whether to adopt that new growth plan.
There's an opportunity tonight to hear from some of the Democratic candidates for governor. The faith-based social justice group called Wisdom is sponsoring a forum tonight in Pewaukee. Mike McCabe, Kelda Roys, Matt Flynn, Andy Gronick, Kathleen Vinehout, Dana Wachs and Malone Mitchell have all confirmed that they will attend. Madison Mayor Paul Soglin and State Superintendent Tony Evers submitted written answers to some of the questions. You can watch the forum online at 6 o'clock on wisconsini.org.
If you have ever wanted a portable hydraulic unit or a diesel generator at a pretty good cost, and I know Danica's wanted those for years, you can log on for part 2 of the auction of equipment from the former GM plant in Janesville. That starts today, runs through Friday. Now, even though this machinery hasn't been used for the decades since GM closed the factory down, the online auction site says it should still work. That's good news. If you're interested in bidding, you can sign up at aucto.com, AUCTO.com. Just search former GM assets when you get there.
A Janesville mother who lost her 12-year-old daughter to suicide will talk to the Janesville City Council tonight, making a case for an anti-bullying ordinance in the city. It's been 2 weeks now since Elizabeth Jacobson took her own life. Her mother says bullying played a role in her suicide. She and activist groups will ask council to create rules that fine parents and punish kids with community service.
Also at that meeting, the Janesville City Council will decide on an ordinance that could change how people caught with small amounts of marijuana are treated. Right now, they're automatically arrested, taken to the Rock County Jail, but under this proposed ordinance, they could be given a ticket instead by officers of up to $500. It would be the officer's judgment which path to take. The new policy could make it so that suspect could avoid a criminal record for having small amounts of that drug.
The UW Health Carbone Cancer Center is partnering with other cancer centers across the country to increase screening and vaccinations for human papillomavirus, or HPV. Carbone reports nearly 1 out of every 4 people in the U.S. is affected with HPV, and of those 80 million people, more than 31,000 will be diagnosed with an HPV-related cancer this year. They're calling on doctors, parents, and young adults to take advantage of the rare opportunity to eliminate cancers that the sexually transmitted disease can lead to, like cervical cancer.
Let's go to traffic right now at 6:56. Let's check in with Josh Tim to see how things are moving so far this morning. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yeah, still moving well on the Beltline with no major issues, although, as usual, the westbound side beginning to get crowded. I would expect brake lights here within the next 15 to 20 minutes. Inbound John Nolan, you're picking up between Rimrock and Olin Avenue. That's going to add a couple minutes heading into the downtown Madison area. And other main routes, including on the interstate, are cruising along at usual speeds. No crashes or delays. For your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Thank you.
And we continue to see a lot of cloud cover out there right now. I want to say sunshine. Sometimes you just say what you're wishing for out there, but the cloud cover continues to thicken up. We'll see that move in this morning. Then as we get you towards the afternoon, we'll see some breaks in that cloud cover. That means we're going to be partly sunny and milder as opposed to this weekend. We are talking highs right around 76 degrees. There will be a rain chance later on overnight tonight. It is not a big deal. We should not see by any means the rains that we saw on Saturday night.
That's always good news.
Yes, it is.
We can get that baseball game in this afternoon that we had canceled earlier this season.
Oh, yeah. No problems for baseball.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.